I know the title might be questionable, might frighten you, but I'm going to share something with you that's going to change your whole perspective on how you see this world, and even including the shadow aspect of yourself. Now, the title says Outwitting the Devil. But here's the thing, the word outwitting means deceiving or defeating with cleverness. What's crazy is that everyone thinks the devil is something outside of us, which it is, but it's something also within us. But when we could recognize that shadow aspect within us and within the world, we could understand how the world operates. And when we understand how the world operates and how we understand how we operate, we are better equipped with understanding how to cleverly defeat what does not serve us and cleverly not allow anything outside of us to deceive us. So in today's episode is going to be the most powerful episode I've ever done, and it's going to be the one that's going to change your life profoundly. So stay tuned to the very end, because everything I'm going to share with you is going to activate you into the best way possible, not only to your fullest potential, not only to your most fulfillment, but to the most peaceful, understanding way on how to no longer let this world dismantle your spirit or let your past define you, but you allow your past to be redefined and you allow your spirit to transform your outer reality to the point that you'll awaken to see that you always had the power within you to create the happiness, the riches, the success, and the love that you solely been craving. Is Gooch beautiful beings, welcome back AwakenOnes on another episode on Embrace the Ascension series with your homegirl Brittany Fontanez. If you're new to this channel, so glad to have you here. If you've been on this journey with me so far, gang, only love, you know who you is. On this channel I am an energetic activator here to assist you to awaken things you have yet to see for your emotional awareness to go upon your spiritual evolution. So before we get into this video, I will kindly ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel and hit that notification button so you won't miss out on any videos I put out. Now, if you want to know anything about me and the services I render, you can go to the description box below, go to my link tree, be redirected to my Etsy shop where I sell dream catchers and merch. Also, you'll be redirected to my healing course, Awaken Prophecy, understanding the aspects and the importance of healing to awaken to your purpose upon this planet. Also, you'll be redirected to my website where I sell a lot more merch and including my services that are one-on-one healing sessions, dream interpretations. I do past life regression work and all that good stuff, including Reiki. And lastly, please go follow me, my homegirl Jessica Frias, on Spotify at Mystifying Reality, where we post new episodes every single Sunday. I keep saying Sunday, it's Monday, bro. I just keep forgetting it. But other than that, beautiful beings, let's dive into Outwitting the Devil. Now, the reason why I want to share this video, I've been wanting to share this for a very long time. I just didn't know how to articulate my emotions, my thoughts, to organize it in a way to put it out in a video. But I feel so inspired to do so because of this book that I choose to read every single year, once a year. This is the only book I read every single year, and it is by Napoleon Hill, Outwitting the Devil, hence the title of this video. And this book is all about him having conversation with the devil and understanding why is it the world is the way that it is, hence in poverty and apathy and judgment, hatred, destruction, how children are brought up, how we are brought up, and why we are always in the state of mental anguish, illness, disease, hence dis-ease. And I feel inspired to share this with you because I've been having so many profound awakenings in my life that made me recognize, damn, There is a way to defeat what we call the enemy. And I know in today's world, we are taught that the enemy is something outside of us, hence why we are so judgmental of each other. But what if I told you that if the Creator lives within everything, it lives within us, but we cannot no longer allow ourselves to be arrogant and understanding that there is such thing as light and forgetting that there is such thing as darkness. This world is full of duality, light and dark, good and evil, and because of this duality, we are a part of this duality as well. So this is why I strive, especially on this channel, to share with you guys, we can't bypass the shadow aspect of who we are. Because if we bypass the shadow aspect of who we are, hence lying to ourselves, then we are lying about the world outside of us. Now, I say this because a lot of us live in toxic positivity. And toxic positivity is us bypassing our own bullshit, our own toxicity, and not taking accountability for it, and covering it up with trying to make the world perceive us in a way that is false. The reason why I feel inspired to do this video is because a lot of shit is coming to the surface. A lot of things within the entertainment industry, music industry, people we idolize, a lot of dark shit that's in their closet is coming out because we're in the state of an apocalypse. But I don't believe in biblical times what they say, that the apocalypse is the world ending. No, I believe a veil is being lifted, lies are being told, things are being exposed, the light is finally exposing the dark, hence things have to be exposed. This is why I strive hard to be on the opposing force, which is of light, which is of God, or creator. I like to consider it creator because the word God backwards says dog, and to see our creator in that representation is kind of downgrading it. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with dogs. I'm a pet sitter. I'm a lover of animals, and animals love me. They're always attracted to me. But I'm saying a creator is so powerful, so intelligent, and there's no reason to downgrade it by a word that represents something else. So I like to call it creator. I'm going to start calling it creator from now on, so we all can understand this profound power of this universe that is so intelligent and so loving, and has been trying its hardest to expose what is not serving it and what is not serving us as a civilization. Now, I want to get into reading some paragraphs from this book to help you better understand why our world operates the way that it does. Now, where am I at? I'm more ahead than the chapters I've been reading because this book always changes my mind. That's why I love coming back to it, because I always learn something new, and even with more clarity. So as Napoleon Hill is asking particular questions to what we consider the devil, and we have to understand that there is an opposing force. There is darkness that is not trying to attack us. It's not really his job. I don't believe demons attack. I don't believe darkness attacks. I believe we give way and space to those things to corrupt us and to dismantle our spirit, because this is where we start. So the answer that what we call the enemy answers this question that Napoleon Hill asked it. I get what I want by exercising self-control. Ain't that deceiving? But let's continue. It's not so good for my own business, but I suggest you emulate me instead of criticizing me. You call yourself a thinker, and you are. Otherwise, you would never have forced this interview on me. But you would never be the sort of thinker that frightens me unless you gain and exercise greater control over your emotions. And what's crazy is that when I read this, I do these videos to help you guys understand your emotions. Because when you understand that energy is emotions, energy, and motion, nothing can dismantle your spirit. Your heart is connected to the creator. The mind is connected to what we call the enemy. When you connect to your heart, You're connecting to the higher aspect that vibrates off the frequency of love. And that's what produces gratitude and all these good emotions and all these good things to be attracted to you. When you have more control over your emotions, nothing can dismantle you, hurt you, or manipulate you. Now, let's continue to, page 73. Answer that Napoleon Hill asked. My greatest weapon over human beings consists of two secret principles by which I gain control of their minds. I will speak first of the principle habit, through which I silently enter the minds of people. By operating through this principle, I wish I could avoid using this word, the habit of drifting. When a person begins to drift on any subject, he is headed straight towards the gates of what you earthbounds call hell. So, pretty much what the opposing force, what we call the enemy, is saying that when we don't choose to think for ourselves, when we choose to refuse to redefine our past, when we refuse to take accountability for what we tolerate, when we choose and refuse to see the pain that's trying to teach us and instead we judge it, we create space for that entity to take hold of our being, and therefore we are controlled, and this is why we act out in toxic ways. Hence abusiveness, verbally abuse, substance abuse, sexual abuse, all these different ways of distracting ourselves and running away from ourselves because we think there's a monster and an enemy outside. But really, when we believe there's an enemy outside of us, there's an enemy within us. And when we face the enemy within us, no matter how painful it is, there will never be an enemy outside of us. So therefore, that's how you end up learning how to create upliftment, by transmuting the energy of darkness into light, but also by using your light to expose the darkness within you. So let me get to the last page I want to share with you guys to better understand how the world operates and why we operate the way that we do. So this is a question Napoleon Hill asks as the devil. I was under the impression that the purpose of schooling was to help children think. This is the answer. That may be the purpose of schooling, but the system in the most of the schools of the world does not carry out the purpose. School children are taught not to develop and use their own minds, but to adapt and use the thoughts of others. This sort of schooling destroys the capacity for independent thought, except in a few rare cases where children rely so definitely upon their own willpower that they refuse to allow others to do their thinking. Accurate thought is the business of my opposition, not mine, and the opposition is God or Creator, that I like to call. Now, the reason why I share this with you guys is because we have to understand we don't exist for the purpose of just existing. We exist because we're here to bring light. We're here to bring love. We're here to bring new levels of profoundment in our consciousness so we can evolve. So we can see the potentialities of what a human and a spirit being can be. Have you ever thought of movies when you were a kid where they thought about the future, like Back to the Future, where we have hoverboards, we have flying cars? We're so intelligent we can create that. But the reason why we're not in that state of mind or consciousness is because we are belittling ourselves, because we are in the state of believing the enemy is something we need to fear. Now, this is something that I really had a question, because in the book it also teaches, like it says, school teaches children how not to think for themselves. And in the book it also mentions that the enemy, the dark force, uses our parents, uses our preachers, uses churches and teachers to dismantle our own independent thinking, and refuses to allow us to think for ourselves so we can adapt into the adult, into a mature version of ourselves that can create self, hence self-made. But because that it's so clever in using what we believe should be our stability, hence our parents, hence our family, and uses it to dismantle our spirit and not allow us to think freely, we forget that we have a sense of sovereignty. This is why we fear being vulnerable. This is why we fear speaking up for ourselves. This is why we fear being authentic. And we choose to be inauthentic because we were told to listen to others and to neglect self. When you neglect self, you don't think for self, plain and simple. And I really thought about it. In the book, it mentions that in church, it teaches you how to fear God. But here's something that my higher self brought to me. Why fear God when God is love? Fear is of a monster, but love is the absence of a monster, hence God, a guide. If I fear ridicule for being me, of what people think of me, subconsciously I fear what God has made of me. So they teach us to fear God, knowing that God is love. But think about it this way. The enemy is so clever that it makes us fear God, but not fear the enemy. Ain't that some crazy shit? And I'm bringing this to the forefront because we really got to question our reality. We really got to question what we're taught. We really got to question why is it the way that it is, and why is it I am the way that I am? Because this is how we can create independent thinking. Now, I want to get into other things as well. God is an actor, a chameleon, a shapeshifter, being able to go into multiple different universes to understand vibration and to create the reality that it wants. Satan is a reactor. God acts and adapts at what thy want to be with patience and humility. Satan reacts to what thee does not like and does it with desperation and with force, trying to control. And control comes from fear. Control and wanting comes from desperation and force. So I'm sharing this with you guys because it's very vital for us to understand that everything, I'm not saying how to believe and what to believe in. What I am saying is question what you believe in. Question who you idolize. People don't say who they are. And we're trying so hard to find our gripping in who we are in this world. I'm not saying to learn from no one. Learn from everyone. Because that's how you find your inspiration to think for yourself. What I'm saying is that you are your own independent thinker. The reason why you were given the potentiality and the reasoning to have your own free will and your own will to think is to make the example what you needed and what you want in this world, and be that example to raise the collective consciousness. But it first requires you to save yourself and to raise your sense of consciousness, to understand what it is you need and what you want, not in a way where you get into a God complex and you fall into the spiritual ego, hence the alter ego, but you get into a state of understanding the higher power that created you and being humble about it, but also understanding the power to create and co-create with that higher power. So I'm going to share 2 last quotes with you guys that my mind has just been flushing out of me. There is a verse in the Bible talking about God has many mansions. This is what I learned from that verse. Oh my God, I just pulled my eyeball. Oh my God. But here is what I feel that verse was saying. When you know that there are multiple universes, house of God, many mansions, in one, you can vibrate and act as the frequency of the reality that you truly feel is yours. When you react towards the current reality that you do not like, you become a slave to what you feel is not meant for you. And this is how all understanding the world and understanding yourself and understanding your pain and understanding what has hurt you and understanding what it is that makes you feel uneasy in your existence. You can understand how to manifest the existence you want to live in and learn how to stop living hell on earth, but learn how to create your heaven on earth. Now, the last quote I want to share with you guys, the biggest one I realized today. I rather face hardship and emotional difficulties of walking away from what does not serve me rather than staying in the comfortability of the pain that is hurting me. And I say this because our Creator does not like it when we feel weak and feel useless. It doesn't. But the enemy loves when you're weak, and loves when you feel useless, and loves when you're hopeless, and loves when you don't have faith. Because that's how you could be manipulated, and that's how you could be controlled. Hence the frequency that this world is on is of fear to control us. But when you learn that creative power within you, the love that the Creator has for you and created you, lives within you, and you learn how to take all your hardships, how to take what doesn't serve you and transmute that into what does serve you, and letting go of what it is that's hurting you, and you find a way to feel empowered, even when you're alone, even when you're ridiculed, even when people don't understand you. You become your own lover, your own parent, your own cheerleader. When you learn to do this, nothing can control you. Hence, you learn to outwit the enemy within you, and you can walk through this life not having an enemy at all. People are not gonna like you. People are gonna make you the villain. People are gonna deem you as there's something wrong with you, or people are gonna be like, oh, she's weird. Let him be. Because you are going to walk on this earth rattling the darkness, because the darkness can't stand the light. You're going to trigger people to awaken to parts of themselves that they refuse to love and see their own toxicity. You're going to make such an impact when people meet you, because you have the ability to think for yourself. Thinking for yourself creates vulnerability and authenticity, and that's magnetic. But with your discernment and understanding darkness, you will be able to weed out those who don't serve you and don't have pure intentions for you. Because you live with integrity, you live with grace, you live with understanding what true strength is. And true strength is the willingness to face the fear. When you can face fear of love, of money, of people, of yourself, of your potential, your success. When you can overcome that, nothing can dismantle your spirit. But please remain humble, because the best quote I ever learned in my life was, God will humiliate you to humble you, to teach you humility. Like I said, I'm not telling you what to believe in. I'm telling you and asking you, what master are you feeding? Who are you praying to? Why is it that you see yourself as worthless and weak, when everything you're facing was not to dismantle you? It was here to teach you to grow. We think that things that are troublesome in our current circumstance it makes us powerless. But here's the thing. If it wasn't there in your life, those hardships, if it wasn't there in your life, you wouldn't be able to overcome it. And what I'm saying is that the reason why it exists in your life is because you can overcome it. Our Creator doesn't give us what we can't handle. It gives us what we can handle. But do we have the strength to think for ourselves? Do we have the strength to love ourselves? Do we have the strength to not be of this world, but create a new world within this world? So you guys, all of this I share with you is not to fear anything, but to teach you why fear exists, because it's a man-made lesson. It's to teach you how to see your triggers, how to see your shadows, how to take accountability and responsibility for what you tolerate, but also understanding the power that you hold to literally outwit what no longer serves you, but to create what it is you want. Because we have the power to choose our happiness and our suffering, to choose upliftment and discernment, or defeat and heartache. So everything that I have given you today was from the bottom of my heart, and for you to be activated to realize you are not existing just to exist. You're existing because there will never be another existence like you. Our Creator will never make another you. So you might as well learn to be the best you that you can be, because the only power you have is to create the life that you want. And if people are going to ridicule that, people are going to hate that, for you thinking for yourself, that's on them. That's a personal issue. The only power you have and the only duty that you need to do is to create what's going to uplift you. But it starts by facing what makes you fear yourself and that upliftment and the power that you hold. Most of our spirits are dismantled. Most of us don't believe in ourselves. Most of us don't have the confidence in ourselves. And we want to blame the devil. We want to blame hardship. We want to blame karma. Nah. We can't blame that enemy, because that enemy is within us. And once we face the enemy within us, I keep bringing up this book. I highly suggest getting this book, you guys. Because when we stop blaming what we call the enemy, and we start facing that enemy within us, we start to realize it's all part of the process. And you start realizing, like, damn, you know, I could be my own demise, or I could be my own hero. So, beautiful beings, if you highly enjoyed this video and you got informative, healing things through this video, please hit that like button. Please share this video with people you may feel that may need it. And lastly, subscribe to this channel so you will be notified when I post videos. But until then, you guys, I send you nothing but love and only love. And I want you to realize you have the power to create the inspiration and the heaven on earth that you want. But first, understand the hell on earth on the outside of you and on the inside of you. And I guarantee you, when you start taking accountability, when you start taking responsibility to understanding that you can't be a victim toward your circumstance, because you have some part in it. I'm not saying it's your fault that you were born in a broken home. You were born through abuse. I'm not saying that's your fault, but it will be your fault if you do nothing about it to heal from it. And that is my only goal, for us to understand what self-love is. When we have unconditional self-love, we can have unconditional love for the world, to the point love will outweigh evil and darkness. Until then, you guys, I'll see you on the next one. Have a blissful day or night wherever you are. Only love.